Hi everybody, it's Big Red here from BoLS, and today we have Dreadfleet. You've all heard about it. Games Workshop won't stop talking about it. So, what is our exciting $115 box of Adventure on the High Seas? Well, let's take a look. All right, let's get this box open. One thing, that box is just incredibly perfectly form-fitting for some strange reason. We have a typical kind of nice box, all the instructions, names of all the ships, and everything on the side of it, kind of like a lot of the old Space Hulk and those games were. Inside of it, one of the big oversized boxes, we'll take these sprues out. First of all, we get 4 frames of just ships. And we'll take a look at these. As you can see, these are the large, full-size frames from Games Workshop. So these ships are pretty decent. I mean, there's the side of the Empire Great Ship compared to my hand. It's pretty large. That's about the size of a standard, a little taller than a standard fantasy or 40K miniature. That guy here, and just a huge amount of detail on these things. All of the kind of standard Games Workshop CAD designed. Obviously, really small details. Lots of very sharp points. Lots of a lot. They've come a very long way. Look at, even as an example of the type of thing we're seeing on a piece like this, where you're getting all kinds of really amazing relief on this side, but then you flip it over on the other side, and there's just all kinds of interior decking of ships with cuts going way in there. So lots of and there's one side of it, there's the other side of it. There's that particular ship over here. We have the kind of Skaven-y deep sea angler kind of a ship. It's hollow. As you can see here, there's the kind of undead Flying Dutchman kind of a ship, left-right parts. There's decking on it. There's the Chaos Dwarf ship that comes together to form the big mechanical squid that everyone has been talking about. Lots of things here, little flywheels. I'll go take a look over here. Sails. The sails are really nicely done. All the sails, as you can see here, have relief and iconography on them. These aren't really flat at all. They're as you can tell here, there's a lot of billowing shapes here on everything from the Undead ship to the Empire to some of the more fanciful High Elf designs over here. You get masts, all the little sails and triplicate over here. And then the last one is we have a dwarf ship. There's the Araby ship with its genie and kind of fanciful towers.
Little high elf dragon too.
Oh, little high elf dragons right there. On the Empire, you get all kinds of little support ships too. So as an example, going back to the Empire Sprue, you get, in addition to kind of their big main ship, there's 4 little tiny support ships that are in there. And we will get back with the other sprues. All right, we have the final 2 sprues that are in the box. First of all is just kind of a little footnote here. These are the bases for all of the ships. Once again, you can kind of get a sense of scale over these. They all have very nicely done water and little accessories that are specific to the particular ships themselves. So they're they are very different. You get little pieces of tentacles off this one, little kind of undead skeletons on some of these. This is the particularly interesting one, is kind of the weird, kind of strange magical base for the floating undead ship over there. Here's the really large one for the Empire ship, and then the islands. This is the movement tool that you use to actually move your ships. It's kind of reminiscent of some of the kind of interesting tools that you saw in the tokens and effects sprue that came out when Fantasy launched. It's that kind of a thing. You assemble it, you paint it, you do whatever you want to with it, and then these are all of the various islands. And as you can see here, these things are very three-dimensional. Probably some of the most three-dimensional pieces that I've ever seen on a sprue. In particular, things like this, where you have this island. You can kind of get a side shot of it, and you can see it's it's very vertical with all the little towers, and these are little watchtowers that plug into it. You have the kind of the typical spooky islands just full of skulls. These things are just totally laden with skulls. You have crashed ships, and if you flip them over, you can definitely see how deep and the undersides of these pieces are. Just really impressive stuff for single piece injection molded sprues. And now we're moving on to the rest of the game. And we're back. First of all, let's take a look at the non-Sprue contents of the kit. The rulebook. The rulebook is a horizontal format like we used to see back in Battlefield Gothic. May have been the last time I saw one of these. This is really, really heavy, as you can tell here. Cardstock on the covers. The entire book is full color. It's really nicely done. You can see it's definitely thicker paper than even you see in the Warhammer Fantasy hardcover. Full color all the way around. Tons of art, lots of painted miniatures, rules, missions. It's 98 pages. Has everything you need. Lots of John Blanche art all over this guy. And I'll put this aside. And just kind of the little other things that come in the box set. You get your bag of dice. You get movement and order cards. You get 2 small decks of event cards. You also get a bag of Ziploc bags if you need bags of Ziploc bags. And big thing, put all this stuff back in here. So you can kind of get a sense of scale of this. Is you get, put this back. Is you get the playing surface, which we'll take a look at right here. You get the board. This is fabric. You can tell it's printed. This one is being unfolded for the very first time here, so you can kind of see. And it's pretty large. This is.
An idea.
That is a pretty large full-color fabric play surface. And once again, that is Dreadfleet in a nutshell, unboxed. Games Workshop, it's out now, $15, and I'm sure you'll be hearing more of it coming in the days ahead. Talk to you guys later.
Frost from BoLS here to tell you about the contents of Dreadfleet assembled and ready to go and ready to play. First, we've got the Grand Alliance here. We've got an elf ship with a dragon, and we've got a dwarf ship that has a zeppelin it can launch. We have the Heldenhammer, a human ship, a real big badass, and then we have the Flaming Scimitar, who can use different types of elementals to let it do neat stuff. And then we have the Swordfish, an all-around ship with a neat little sword in its prow for launching devastating assaults from the front. Then we have the Dreadfleet, all undead all day long. We have the ghost ship that can fly and is also extremely difficult to hit with shooting. We have the Undead Leviathan that is crewed by Skaven that has warp lightning cannons that ignore armor. Then we have the Bloody Reaver, excellent assault ship, and it's still really strong all around in all of its other abilities. Then we have the Kraken, who can submerge and show up anywhere on the field. Well, not anywhere, but in surprisingly close places. And then we have the Khemri ship, who can boost its stats once per game and become a real nuisance to your opponent. Then we have the monsters, who will show up at random times depending on your fate cards and will attack typically the nearest enemy. Then you have all of the neat terrain that comes with the game that will definitely come into play and oftentimes interrupt your plans for blasting your foe to pieces. And then you have the tokens with which the game is played. You have the ruler, which you can adjust and will stop at perfect 45-degree angles for you to turn properly. You have treasure tokens just to keep track of who's got the treasure. You have turning dials, so you can make 45-degree turns without the ruler. Then you have the wind marker, which you place along the edge to determine where the wind is coming from. And some missions require you to use the maelstrom side of it, where the wind is actually pulling from the center. Just for a sense of scale here, so you can see how big these ships are in comparison to something else, we have an Eldar Warrior here, or Dark Eldar Warrior rather. So, yeah, they're pretty sizable, substantial ships. And there you have it. That's everything that comes with the game.